The most stunning thing about episode 11 of Yellowstone was this.
We're looking for Bumpered Hill?
I've never heard of it.
Are you Sarah Atwood?
How would you?
Jamie is verklempt, to say the least. And he should be, because with Sarah Atwood gone, he doesn't have a friend in the world. And that brings me to the second most stunning moment from season 5, episode 11.
Do you think I could do anything to our father, to you? For what? Huh? How do I benefit from that?
I'm not that surprised that Jamie begged Kayce to believe that he wasn't involved in what happened to John Dutton. I'm surprised that Kayce seemed to buy it. Full stop honesty, at the time, I couldn't remember why Jamie would benefit from the airport either. The dude seems to hypnotize people with his lies. But then, Sarah Atwood spelled it out for us.
You want in that governor's mansion so bad you'd probably sleep in his bed without changing the sheets.
So this is the first thing that has to happen during episode 12, right?
That'll send him running for cover.
You'll never find out who did it, but you might find out who paid for it.
When they kill him.
At least you'll know.
There is no way that Kayce learns that Sarah Atwood, his brother's lover and ally, was killed, and he still thinks Jamie is squeaky clean. I'm reminded of these moments from the rest of that season 5 teaser video shared on November 10th. Jamie shredding documents is going to be very rewarding. And look, my Dutton Rules podcast co-host Addison Hager and I have been sort of wishy-washy on Jamie. He's good, he's bad, he's troubled, he's misunderstood. At the end of the day, I think he's just kind of a weenie who's going to throw his love behind whomever shows him the most support in the moment. He's like an emotional feeder fish with no redeeming qualities. I decided that right after he called up Sarah Atwood and apologized. In the real world, this kind of news would bring Market Equity's plans to build an airport and the state's plans to acquire the Yellowstone Ranch by eminent domain to a screeching halt, but I'm not so sure someone won't try to power forward. The company's lone representative in Montana is Ellis. Does Carolyn Warner make a comeback? He seems like a tuck-and-run sort of guy, and without an airport partner, the state doesn't have a reason to want the land. Logically, this is what should happen, but we still have 3 episodes remaining, so I'm not predicting it. I actually think the plot will hard pivot to a new villain. Any guesses? If you watched the episode 11 recap video, you probably know. Links below, but I'll flash a little bit of a tease right now. For the last 2 weeks, I've been thinking about one particular scene from a teaser video Yellowstone dropped on November 10th. You'll see it here.
You having fun yet?
Why would Sarah Atwood be talking on a burner phone? As it turns out, this was the second to last phone call she'd ever make. And just a few seconds earlier, the show gave us a clue as to who she was trying to call and how it ties everything back to this guy. That's coming, but man, this show is sneaky, isn't it? They like to walk you right up to the right answer without giving away too much. I know I'm not the only Yellowstone fan who squints for clues like this. In fact, I've started to rely on your sleuthing to riff off theories like this. Reasonable at the time. Comment below or staff@tasteofcountry.com and we'll keep the conversation going. I want to hear your wildest Yellowstone theories and the proof. It's an approach that makes this show so much more fun to watch, and it's an approach that's totally necessary to get to the bottom of who killed Claire and Henry in a new video game called June's Journey. If you love stories that zero in on early 20th century American life, you'll really enjoy the art and architecture that surround June Parker as she tries to solve her sister's murder. But this isn't your classic whodunit. You gotta spot clues, and the quicker you do it, the more points you earn, and well, you can really put your own personal touches on the game too. There are a lot of options to customize your garden island to your liking, and hey, look at that. Yeah, it feels really good to update your mansion and get a little bit further into the game. I'll get to the rewards in just a second, but it took me about 2 minutes to understand how to play. I got instantly hooked. Pretty quickly I figured out that not everyone is as they seem, like Virginia. She's June's sweet little niece who's grieving her parents' death, or is she? Alright, here's a clue right here. Just 2 bodies, but 3 whiskey glasses. Yep, this doesn't look like a classic murder-suicide like the police are saying. Overall, this game is super easy to get into. With every scene and every chapter, the story gets more and more interesting. Secrets get revealed. Like here, where little Virginia learns that her parents went to great lengths to, spend time together on the sly before they got married. I think if little Ginny were wearing pearls, she'd be clutching them right now. I mentioned rewards, which, let's be honest, solving a murder is hard work. Literally, those points become flowers around the mansion, or a new fountain, some chairs. You can even snap your fingers and upgrade the entire house. Oh look, I just spotted the key. And then there's a safe, which I'll unlock and find. Well, you'll have to wait and see. This next part is from the trailer, which shows an amazing recreation of period pieces with antique set designs and character outlooks, but I'm definitely not trusting that fella when I get to meeting him later. Discover June's Journey for free. Click on the link in the description box and play on Android, iOS, and PC. I want to give you one more example of clues that you caught about Yellowstone. This one ties a line between how John Dutton exits and how Kevin Costner's career began. In 1983, he scored a big role for a movie called The Big Chill, but literally all of his scenes were cut except for images of his body in the montage. I mean, you know Taylor Sheridan thought about that, right? He seems to think of just about everything, like the phone number Sarah calls moments before her death. It's a standard Hollywood 555 number, but it's a 713 area code. 713 is Houston, and if you think Sarah was trying to call Grant, the guy she hired for the hit on John Dutton, it's meaningful that he has a Houston number. Why?
Man, I don't know. I mean, EMRS out of Houston does some really dirty shit.
During episode 10, this guy, Cade McPherson, mentioned Houston as one of the locations where these kinds of operatives are organized, but he said he didn't think that they would do it. Let's re-examine that phone call. Kayce calls Cade, who is just returning home from a covert mission. Like Kayce, he's a SEAL, so he'd have the same training as Kayce.
These snatches, how do you perform one on a subject that's sleeping?
You'd need 3 men. One to hold the legs below the calves to eliminate any leverage. The second would restrain the arms, and another to execute the choke.
That's exactly how the hit on John Dutton happened. Further proof that a group of ex-military men were responsible for the shootings comes from Season 1, Episode 1. If you recall, Monica's brother, Robert Long, was found killed with 5 shots clustered around his chest and 1 to the head. Kayce Dutton was responsible, but the Duttons successfully obfuscated that fact. Now, look at how Sarah Atwood was killed. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe the most telling part of all this is that Kayce's friend was supposed to call back with the info, but he never did. I mean, rude! Unless he's the guy that Kayce's looking for. In that case, the plot just took a hard right turn and introduced a new villain for these final 3 episodes, a group of ex-military professionally trained assassins. That's terrifying and potentially frustrating. I mean, the show has enough plot lines to wrap up already without the introduction of something totally new. My prediction for episode 12 is modest. We'll find out definitively if Cade is a hero or a villain, and have a very clear idea of what Jamie will do next. My guess is he grows that beard again like he does every time he's deep in his feels. Elsewhere, I think we'll get this moment.
This knife, where's my blood?
This knife, where's mine?
We were brothers down.
But I also think we're in store for more procedural conversations about easements, eminent domain, and lawsuits. I'm gonna close with a hot take about 4 characters I think we're absolutely through with. I don't think we'll see any of the Texas-based cowboys in the present day again. That means more flashback scenes, including one that features Lainey Wilson returning as Abby, but Ryan, Jake, Teeter, Walker, and Gator are all going to be safely removed from any gunfire that happens at the ranch.
Let's go to work.
This moment from episode 10 felt definitive, but also like the start of something new, a new show perhaps? Questions, comments, or theories below or at staff@tasteofcountry.com. I'm Billy Dukes for Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and be sure to discover June's Journey for free. Click on the link in the description box and play on Android, iOS, and PC.